And everybody keeps accusing me of being this vile, horrible person when the person is your favorite billionaire talk show host. She's the villain you think I am.
This is a direct character assassination. I've always said that I'm not a saint, that I am a work in progress, but I will not be held hostage by my past.
In 2019, Oprah Winfrey had a special with child abuse victims of Michael Jackson. She went on to explain that when done right, child abuse feels good.
But you respect or maybe even love, and it feels good. I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking you, it feels good. Right. Even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels good. And when I first said this years ago, people were like, you're crazy, because everybody wants to believe it's like sexual assault and you're being thrown up against the wall and you're being raped. And I have said for years, if the abuser is any good, you won't even know it's happened. You will be in it and you won't even know it's happened.
The tea has officially touched nuclear levels, and Naomi Campbell just exploded it all over Oprah. That's right, Naomi is snitching, leaking, and dragging one of the greatest names in Hollywood directly into the Epstein scandal. And we're not talking about nebulous rumors anymore. She's saying Oprah's very own girls' school in Africa was reportedly used to sell young girls for Epstein. People have whispered about Naomi's dodgy connections for years, but now she's going full nasty, pointing fingers at Oprah and revealing a network of predators, cover-ups, and power maneuvers. From Jeffrey Epstein to Harvey Weinstein, and even Oprah's past with John of God, the receipts are building up, and Naomi is making sure everyone sees them. The gloves are off, the falsehoods are unraveling, and Naomi isn't going down alone.
I was a baby stuck in a world where grown-ups were allowed to do whatever they wanted, and I was lost. I mean, look at Naomi Campbell's face. You know, shouldn't she be saying, what is a little girl doing at my birthday party?
So one of my best friends, she's not here today. She was human by Naomi Campbell.
Oprah's empire of influence is damaged, and Naomi just pushed it all into the sunlight. If you thought the Epstein story couldn't get more convoluted, guess again. The girlies are bickering, and it is becoming nasty because explain me why Naomi is dumping all the beans on Oprah like this. Fans have been arguing for a long that it was only a matter of time until everyone began turning on each other and snitching. We sort of suspected that things were going to end out this way when Bill Clinton called out the DOJ and challenged them to reveal the complete, unredacted files. But what we didn't anticipate was for Naomi to crumble so fast and start snitching on everyone. And the very first person she snitched on was Oprah. From the get-go, it's extremely evident what she's attempting to achieve. She realizes that she's in some very serious problem, and she's trying to shift the emphasis off herself by putting up someone bigger, and Oprah does fit the bill. Now Naomi is being incredibly messy by pulling someone else into it. But given how much difficulty she's in, it's no wonder that she's putting Oprah under the bus. If you followed the entire Jeffrey Epstein case for any period of time, Naomi's name being up definitely doesn't surprise you. People have been dubious about their relationship for years. It never entirely faded, it simply sat there silently as everyone waited for the next shoe to drop. And now, looking back, it's beginning to seem like there may have been more going on than she ever confessed. When the rumors initially began, Naomi was keen to get out in front of it. She became all high and powerful, stating she had no actual notion what was occurring. She claimed she just met him via her ex and said she was equally as appalled as everyone else after everything came out. That was the version she clung to, at least.
And supermodel Naomi Campbell is in hot water. She is accused of financial misconduct involving an anti-poverty charity that she founded.
What he's done is indefensible. And when I heard of what he'd done, it sickened me to my stomach, just like everybody else. Because I've had my fair share of predators, and thank God that I had good people around me that protected me from this.
This is when folks really began giving her the side eye. A lot of individuals simply didn't believe it. It wasn't like she stumbled across Jeffrey Epstein one time at some strange party and never saw him again. She was around at the gatherings, in the same circles, and for a lot of people, it made it impossible to think she didn't know what was going on. And let's not even forget her close friendship with Diddy, and how she went on and on about how he was like a brother to her, and even referred to herself as his sis. But the instant he was caught, she switched tactics once again and claimed that they were never that close to begin with. Like, ma'am, weren't you just out here being all buddy-buddy with him? The fact that she has been associated to so many dubious individuals is why people weren't so astonished when her name started cropping up again and over in the files. I mean, pot found in the kitchen, right? Who's surprised? Well, it turns out that she has no thoughts of going down alone since the tea she just poured on Oprah is fiery. And again, we shouldn't be shocked since there have been reports of Oprah and Naomi supposedly trafficking young women for individuals like Harvey Weinstein. Y'all remember when British actress Katie Noble called out Oprah and Naomi Campbell, saying that they helped Weinstein abuse her?
And he was with people in which I admired dearly. He was with Naomi Campbell, he had Oprah Winfrey there with him, who entered the room and was swinging off his arm and just seemed like a very dear friend.
And Katie Noble wasn't the only lady who Oprah reportedly sold to affluent men. And the crazy thing is that Oprah has done a very decent job of making herself appear to be a professed campaigner against sexual assault in Hollywood. I mean, she even put Michael Jackson under the bus to make herself appear good. Back in 1993, Michael Jackson granted Oprah a super rare big deal interview at Neverland Ranch. For someone as private as Michael, it was significant. It not only elevated Oprah's celebrity power, but also sealed her friendship with him.
Black artists have been taken advantage of completely. And it's time now that we have to put a stop to this incredible injustice.
You are not taking anything to change the color of your skin.
Oh God, no.
You did not purposely.
We're trying to control it, and using makeup evens it out because it makes blotches on the skin.
She subsequently said they were close friends until his death, discussing incessantly about how deep their friendship was. But once Michael departed, everything turned hard. Oprah pulled a complete 180 and appeared to turn on him. She grew particularly focused on the *Leaving Neverland* documentary, which presented Michael in a bad light. She even met down with his accusers, Wade Robson and James Safechuck, the same men who eventually recanted their charges and swore nothing untoward ever occurred. Oprah giving the accusers more platform caused quite a lot of anger. She stated she was attempting to draw a focus on the sexual assault culture that goes deep in the entertainment sector, which is undoubtedly an important topic. But for a lot of folks, it didn't stack up. Between her personal acquaintance with Michael Jackson, the fact that the accusers had previously recanted, and all the contradictions in their tales, it simply seemed odd. And as it turns out, her association with scary guys was somewhat of an open secret in Hollywood. For example, 50 Cent called her out after the MJ documentary aired, labeling her a hypocrite. He commented, "Don't get why Oprah is going after black men. No Harvey Weinstein, no Epstein, just Michael Jackson and Russell Wilson. That is just sad." Gayle blasted R. Kelly with the *Death Blow* documentary. "Every time I hear Michael Jackson, I don't know whether to dance or think of the small boy's butt." This documentary is publicly convicting their targets. It renders them guilty unless proved innocent. Also, Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, revealed Oprah as one of Diddy's fixers.
I was like, yo, damn. He still got power like that? Somebody still like him like that? Because you know he was running with Oprah and them. He was running with that whole crew. Weinstein, Oprah, Epstein. He was running with that whole crew. They want to know how we're going to do it. How the public is going to take him. Is the public going to let him back in? And the public is not. The public is already canceling him. I don't believe the industry has canceled him yet. All those people who went to those Diddy parties, not one of them had came out and denounced what he has done.
Oh, but it gets much worse because just like Naomi, Oprah has a long, disturbing history of getting linked to the wrong guys who wind up being outrageously weird. Oprah also used to be close to a guy called John of God, a Brazilian man who claimed to be a spiritual healer but was subsequently revealed as a scam. However, Oprah appeared to be infatuated with him. She featured him frequently on her program for a number of years and marketed him as the finest thing ever.
Sure would ever happen. One of the most famous spiritual healers in the world rarely talks to anyone on camera. John of God agreed to sit down with me under a mango tree on the grounds of the casa. a group of his patients gathered to watch. John of God speaks only Portuguese, so Heather Cumming helped translate.
Ready, guys? You describe yourself as a spiritual medium. What does that mean, a medium?
Médium, eu sou espiritualista.
As a medium, he's a spiritualist. He believes a great deal in God, and he practices this mission already 55 years.
He was revealed for keeping teens tied up as slaves and then selling their infants for up to £40,000 apiece. Oprah didn't say anything or do anything to disassociate herself from him. All she did was stop talking about him. That's all. There was no criticism, no comment about how disgusted she was. Nothing. It was all crickets from her. At least Naomi attempted to deny being affiliated with Epstein. Oprah didn't even appear to care enough to attempt to refute when her very evident links to dodgy guys were uncovered. Now, here's where everything gets even messier. Rumors began spreading that many in the business accused Oprah of being personally engaged in some unethical activity with these same strong guys. Multiple people came out stating she reportedly helped some prominent men, including Epstein and Weinstein, cover up their sexual assault charges. She was called out by actress Rose McGowan, who tweeted, "I am delighted people are witnessing the terrible reality of Oprah. I wish she were real, but she isn't." From being mates with Weinstein to abandoning and hurting Russell Simmons' victims, she is about upholding a terrible power system for personal benefit. She is as false as they come. Singer Seal also implied that Oprah was lying about not knowing about Harvey Weinstein's misdeeds. He wrote a message on Instagram stating, "Oh, I forgot. That's correct. You'd heard the allegations, but you had no clue he was really seriously attacking young, starry-eyed actresses who in turn had no idea what they were getting into. My bad. #sanctimonious Hollywood." The curious part about this is that Seal faced violence charges just 5 days after calling Oprah out. This got many wondering about how Oprah paid a bribe to bury the case because she knew that some pretty filthy things would come out if the inquiry went deep. But all due to her lifelong bestie and accused conspirator, everything she attempted to conceal suddenly spilled out into the open.
Biggest life secret, and I lived in such fear of that secret coming out. It was my great life shame. I thought, oh my God, I'm a national television personality. If that ever came out, my God, people are gonna hate me, they're gonna think this, they're gonna think that.
So Naomi Campbell is in the hot seat right now, and it's all because of the Epstein files. Apparently, the feds acquired critical information demonstrating that Naomi was really operating an orphanage pipeline for the elites. The worst part? They identified 30 missing girls cases that just don't match up until you bring in Naomi and her network of predators. And that's precisely why the authorities had no option but to move in on her. There's the Children of the Rising Sun in Kenya that she has been working with since 2013. In fact, she considers it her chosen family. Now supporters believed Naomi was an angel for going above and above for these kids. But the new Epstein files reveal that Naomi had deeper intentions. She's been identified approximately 300 times in the docs. Apparently, Naomi maintained in communication with Epstein during a 15-year span from 2001 to 2016. She would often invite him to high-profile fashion events and to her 40th birthday party in Cannes, a fire and ice extravaganza organized by her then-boyfriend, millionaire Vladislav Doronin. The invitation for the event on May 22nd, emailed to Epstein, seems to state, "We would really like you to be there, as this is a private event for her closest friends and family." Later that year, the premium design label Dolce & Gabbana organized a gala for Campbell's 25-year career in Paris, to which Epstein was invited. His email account responded to the invitation. "Jeffrey will come +2 if possible." According to Campbell's lawyer, Epstein did arrive along with Maxwell, and they remained for around 20 minutes. In several of the emails, Naomi is explicitly soliciting Epstein for a ride on his private plane. One from 2015 states, "Please contact Naomi straight now. She claims she really needs to talk to you." An email account, which was redacted, sent a message to an associate. "Jeffrey is asking if you could find a charter for Naomi Campbell to go from New York to Miami tonight and fly back on Saturday or Sunday." What's intriguing is that most of the emails occurred to be notes sent to Epstein by his aides, reminding him to contact the model or that she had attempted to get in touch with him. A 2010 email to Epstein from his long-term aide Leslie Groff read, "Naomi Campbell was getting a facial and stated she would call back." In another message, Naomi said, "I want to meet Jeffrey. I depart tomorrow at 6 p.m. She then seemed to add, exhausted babe Soxo.
And Naomi was very smart though, because she kept most of her communications by phone. It was, please call Naomi. Naomi wants you to call her, or vice versa, they were trying to get hold of her. And in fact, after a certain amount of time, it looked like she even stopped communicating with Jeffrey and Glenn and only directly with his assistant, Leslie.
And he was with people in which I admired dearly. He was with Naomi Campbell, he had Oprah Winfrey there with him, who entered the room and was swinging off his arm.
And they try to use a girl that you might like, or you may think you might like, or they think you might like her, or whatever, to convince you to lay down your guards with them.
Did Naomi Campbell play a role in Oprah and Jeffrey Epstein's darkest secrets?
Are you just a petulant diva who wants things her own way, and if you don't get things your own way, you feel you have the right to throw things?
Campbell's name also appears on a paper headed List of People Who Need Jay's Address, along with a dozen other individuals under a series of instructions on how to send letters, postcards, and books to Epstein in jail. According to her lawyer, Naomi has no clue who generated this list or why her name appears on the paper. She never requested anybody for Epstein's address to speak with him in prison in Florida. However, she would want to reconsider that, since Epstein was using her name to draw in innocent ladies. Back in 2020, a victim who met Epstein when she was 15 alleged that he had promised to provide her a position at Victoria's Secret. To bolster his argument, he informed her that he knew Campbell, and it worked. The victim was effectively enticed into the trap. However, what she didn't anticipate was for Epstein to really invite Naomi out to his private office. But how can supporters know she's speaking the truth? Well, another one of Epstein's victims, Virginia Giuffre, also told about how Epstein introduced her to Campbell. She was spotted during Campbell's 31st birthday celebration in St. Tropez in 2001. And that's only the top of the iceberg. Apparently, Naomi wasn't only giving Epstein her name, she was also transporting youngsters from her orphanages to his island. And it makes a lot of sense, since in recent months, several of the victims have really stood out to tell about Naomi's participation in Epstein's ring.
So one of my with Naomi.
A United Kingdom monitoring organization uncovered evidence of financial impropriety at the model's charity, Fashion for Relief.
Fashion for Relief is a poverty aid charity she founded. The UK charity watchdog found only a small amount of the millions of pounds it raised actually went to good causes. Over 5 years, the charity raised £4.8 million from fashion shows and events, but only paid £389,000 in grants to partner charities. In 2019, the charity's income was £1.7 million, and they gave £5,500 in grants.
And get this, some of the charity's spending were not fair either. We're talking $1,000 checks for a 5-star hotel, spa treatments, room service and security, all for Naomi. And therefore, the authorities had no option but to issue a ban. Of course, Naomi denied any wrongdoing. She told the Associated Press, "I've only discovered out today about the results, and I am really worried, and we are investigating on our side, since I was not in charge of my organization. I placed the power in the hands of a legal counsel. So, we are investigating to find out what and how, since everything I do and every dime I have collected goes towards charity." Of course, they didn't trust her back then.
Woman who lived as your assistant. She said you grabbed her by the throat, took hit her with a phone.
Assaulting a photographer. Naomi scratched the pap's eye with her purse. The kicking and spitting at police officers on a British Airways.
And now they assume that the money was merely a cover-up. The actual reason the authorities shut down Naomi was because of what she was doing to these young kids together with Epstein. According to accounts, 30 females have been reported missing so far, and that's not something you can sweep under the rug. At the end of the day, the charges against Naomi are serious, which is why the FBI are supposedly on her case. And if they happen to uncover enough proof to put Naomi behind prison, well, that could well be the end for the supermodel. The main issue is, how does Naomi intend on dealing with the case? Is she going to reach out to her connections in the shadows to escape